Welcome to the Girl Gang. I'm Katrina Gardner of Katrina and Create.
And I'm Dominique Goyette-Connerty of Evergreen Marketing. On this show, we're going to chat with women business owners in Massachusetts and those who support local women in business.
Because girls don't just want to have fun. They also want to sell real estate.
They want to open a brewery.
They want to teach others to invest in the stock market.
They want to take stunning photos, plan lavish parties, and help people recover from injuries.
Girls just want a podcast.
What can we say?
We're girls.
Welcome to Girls Just Wanna. We're back
For another episode. And welcome, and I have several complaints, as always, about just being an adult.
All right, lay it on us.
Insurance. And I know I've talked about this before. But like, it's so annoying. I am now dealing with issues with car insurance, issues with health insurance. So let's start with car insurance. My car insurance was set to expire at like the end of January.
Mm-hmm.
I had Geico for the past 2 years. And so like every 6 months to 1 year, whenever it's up for renewal, Geico goes, here's your upcoming bill. And it's somehow like $600 more than the last bill.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same amount of coverage, like I haven't been in any accidents.
Car's getting older.
Yeah, my car is getting older and they're charging me more to insure it. Wait, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, the car loses value over time.
The car loses value, but also it doesn't make sense. I was going to say also as it gets older, it's more prone to issues.
Yeah.
But then again, whatever. It depreciates in value. So you're right. So it shouldn't be as much. Anyways, Geico always ups the price on me.
Uh-huh.
Like every 6 months to 1 year, however much the policy is for. So every single time they do this, I call them and I say, hi, I'm due for renewal. And I got my renewal bill and it's X amount of dollars more. And I'm wondering why.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, sure. Of course, ma'am. I'll look into that for you. Tippity, tippity, tip, tippity, tippity, type. Yeah. Okay. So no, nothing that you've done. Same coverage, same, amounts on this, same amounts on that. No accidents. You haven't had any issues. Yep. It's just that costs have gone up.
Yeah.
The cost of labor has gone up. So like if you were to get in an accident and you did need repairs, the cost of those repairs would be like more expensive. The cost of the parts are now more expensive. So like I'm preemptively, which I understand that that's how insurance works, is you're basically buying into something.
Mm-hmm.
But goddamn.
Yeah. So
I call them and I'm like, look, they give me the same exact thing. Well, costs have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
Parts have gone up. Labor has gone up. So, that's just, rates are going up nationwide. And I finally said, then I need to look for a different insurance provider because I have been with you for 2 years and it has somehow like tripled my insurance.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how it is astronomically higher.
Okay, so I also want to talk about car insurance. I mean, I don't really want to. This is like an embarrassing thing that I need to like admit. So I was really upset about how high my car insurance was. And I'm like trying to get my bills down because the world sucks right now. So I'm like, I'm paying way too much for this car insurance. Like my car is paid off. It's super old. Like, and then Rocket Money, which we both use as an app, was like, oh, like we'll help you find like better car insurance options. And they did, and they found, so I currently do Liberty Mutual and it's like almost $300 a month. And I'm like, I just can't. And then Progressive gave me a quote for like $60 a month. And I'm like, fabulous. And it was like, if you sign up for like something on the app that like tracks your driving record. Yeah. I'm like, that's fine because I have like an amazing driving record and I drive like an old lady and I only go to the grocery store and that's it. So I call Liberty Mutual. I'm like, I would like to cancel because I'm switching to a new insurance. And they're like, okay, can we get you to stay? I'm like, no, this is how much it will be with the other place. They were like, that's a great price. Like we'll stop your insurance on X date and we're going to give you a refund for whatever you like prepaid beyond that. And I'm like, wonderful. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Liberty Mutual. You've been a gem. And then I switched to Progressive and Progressive is all great and dandy, except after 1 month, the $60 rate is no longer happening. And now it's like $200. And then 2 months later, I'm like, what the fuck are these bills from Liberty Mutual? So I was paying, Liberty Mutual didn't cancel They told me they were going to cancel on the phone. They said it was all set. There was nothing else I had to do, but they didn't cancel it. So I was paying for Liberty Mutual and I was paying for Progressive for like 3 months at the end of last year.
You were very insured.
I was super duper insured. And then I was like, oh, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to go back to Liberty Mutual because that's where my condo insurance is through. So I'm like, let me like rebundle that because Progressive doesn't do condo. So they were
But
like,
is your condo insurance expensive?
no.
Okay, because my renter's insurance, and I don't know how big of a difference that would be. My renter's insurance is like $10 a month for like tens of thousands of dollars of coverage.
Mine's $30 a month. Yeah, it's nothing.
So they're all, every time I talk to any insurance agent, they're like, well, you know, if you bundle, and I'm like, but I'm with this other insurance company on my renter's insurance, and I'm paying $10 a month. So you're telling me that by switching to you, I'm somehow gonna still pay $10 a month and save money on the, like, there's no way that would save me as much money as you think it would.
Well,
it wouldn't.
I'm calling Progressive and I'm like, I want to cancel. Like, can I have the reason? I'm like, can you just I was so mean on the phone. I'm like, can you just cancel it? And he was like, okay.
Yeah, so I switched when I got all upset this January with Geico, and I was like, well, then I'm looking for other insurance providers. So I switched to Progressive. And I did the snapshot thing.
Yes,
where you
that's
plug
what it was.
the device into your card. And then Geico is all like, I told Geico, take my credit card off the thing. I don't want it to do an automatic payment because I'm not renewing. They're like, sure. And they did it. And I checked and they did it. Then when the policy was set to renew and I was already all set with Progressive, Geico's sending me these texts. Here are your new policy cards. And I'm like, well, that's funny because I didn't pay for them because I'm checking my credit card and I'm checking the app and you don't have my payment information and I haven't paid you. So they're assuming that, oh, you're just late on the payment, but here's your new policy. And so I called them and I was like, no, cancel it. I am not doing this. That's why I had you not take my payment. And they said, well, you need to get this letter from your new insurer. It's a transfer of insurance document.
Yes, I had to do that. You
need to get this from them, and then you need to send it to us, and then we can. And I'm like, but I'm not paying you,
right?
So like, you're not insuring me. So at the end of the day, is it really going to matter if you don't have the document? So there was a whole hassle to get the document from Progressive. I waited on the phone for like 30 minutes just for them to tell me where I could find the document already in my app. And I was like, I am young and I know how to use technology. How come?
I was getting like, Progressive app would be like, oh, you have a bill coming up. And if you don't pay your bill by X date, your policy will be canceled. And I was like, well, let me just call them to be like proactive instead of just like waiting for this like, you know, deadline of like not paying a bill. So I call, and when I cancel it, he was like, so you will just have like one final bill to pay us of like $260. And I'm like,
for what?
Yeah. I'm like, would that have happened if I didn't call? Because that was never like said in the app when it was telling me. I thought I don't know, but I haven't paid it yet. I'm like, okay, buddy, bye.
I can't.
But yeah, so
that's the car insurance issue. Should I even get into the health insurance issue? We've been talking for a while. You know what? I'm going to save it for our next episode because I think there will be more updates by the next episode. So tune in if you want to hear about my musings with the health insurance industry because there will be more developments between now and our next recording date. So,
okay.
See you then.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
All right, let's bring in our guest.
Hey ladies, are you looking to grow your own local girl gang?
The Young Professional Women's Association has been named Worcester Region's Best Young Professionals Network for 7 years now.
YPWA offers countless social and professional opportunities to engage and empower local ladies like you and me.
Right now, Girls Just Wanna listeners can get discounted access to YPWA's annual membership.
Go to ypwaworcester.com and enter code podcast2025 at checkout to receive $20 off their annual membership. Again, that promo code is podcast2025. We hope to see you soon at YPWA events. All right, welcome to Girls Just Wanna, Annie O'Malley. You are the owner of Central Mass Mom.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to meet you in person.
Yeah.
So why don't we start? So I briefly mentioned off camera
probably most of our listeners know this, but Katrina is a mom and I am not, so feel free to like own most of the questions here. That's totally fine. But start people off with what Central Mass Mom is and what you do.
Yeah, so we are a hyperlocal digital media company, and we provide a platform for moms in the Central Mass area to feel seen and heard and to find their village and feel supported.
Make some community.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you get it started? Like, what was kind of the thing that kicked it off?
So I actually didn't start Central Mass Mom,
Okay.
but I have been involved with it since the beginning.
Sure.
And basically, when I became a mom, I was all raring to go. I'm gonna crush this mom thing.
Yeah.
And then the baby arrived, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be a lot easier. I'm like I can babysit, and it's not babysitting.
Yeah.
And so when I was a brand new mom, I was searching for every support group, way to connect with other moms. And so I stumbled upon Central Mass Mom, which was actually launching right around the time that I had my first child. And so I joined as a writer and thought that would be a good way to get involved, share my own feelings on motherhood, and also meet some other moms who are in the same stage of life. And so I joined as a writer, and I wrote for the blog for about 18 months. And then the woman who started the blog decided she didn't want to run it anymore. And so I actually bought the rights for the blog from her, and took it and kind of ran with it and turned it into more than just a blog. But that's kind of how it started.
Yeah. So I know Central Mass Moms as like a place where moms can get together and meet in person. Like, I think that's how I got connected with it. And then, following on social media that there are resources that are provided about like things to do in the area. But I'd love to hear from you exactly like, what it is that Central Mass Moms is and offers to the community.
Yeah. So there's a several different kind of facets to Central Mass Mom. So obviously the in-person events, which is kind of the primary way for people to connect with each other. We try to partner with other local businesses. We were supposed to have an event last night, which got snowed out. I don't know. And so we're actually going to do it next week instead, but at the O Shop, which I know you guys interviewed Stephanie Ramey recently. Yeah. She's awesome. And so that is a bra fitting event and an opportunity for moms to get together, but also to do something for themselves, because oftentimes after pregnancy, you're a totally different size and shape, and it's nice to have a bra that fits properly.
That's why I went to the O Shop this
time. Before we did this event again last year around the same time, and prior to going to that event, I hadn't had a fitted bra in 5 years since my first was born, and it's just it's makes you feel comfortable and confident, and it's something that's oftentimes moms put to the side, and you should do. But we do all kinds of events with other local businesses. We've done axe throwing, we've done game nights, we've done just like meet up at a brewery, all really with the goal of creating space for moms to connect. We always encourage moms to come alone, and we start every event with having everybody who's alone and here for the first time raise their hand, and that kind of breaks the tension, and moms look around, they're like, oh, half the room is people who came alone. Okay, that's somebody I can go talk to. Because I think so often people assume they are going to be the only one that comes alone and the only one that is brand new, and that everybody else already knows each other, and that's really not how our events go. And so that's something we really try to make it a comfortable environment for people to come and really find their village. So that's the events piece of things. We also have a blog where we have over 30 writers at the moment who write about everything under the sun. They write about the tips and tricks of motherhood, the challenges, fun places to go, things to do in the area, arts and crafts to do with your kids, really anything that's on their mind at any particular time of year. And then we also provide directories and guides, which are really focused on the businesses in the area and connecting moms with the local businesses. We're just about to refresh our summer camp guide, where we'll showcase all of the summer camps in Central Mass so that you can get your kids signed up and ready to go for the summer. We also have a local business directory, which highlights all of the local businesses in the area that if moms are looking for, a dentist, a plumber, whatever, Oftentimes you're Googling and you don't know, who's a legitimate business, who's even still in business. And so our directory is kind of aimed at being a place for moms to look for great local businesses to use and support.
Yeah, so when you had said when you got involved with Central Mass Mom, you came on as a writer, and at the time it was pretty much just a blog, and then you bought the company. And now you've turned it into all this other stuff, this whole, the website. I saw recipes on there, again, the directories, you've got these guides. I know you run you give local businesses the opportunity to run ads and have these ad partnerships. So you've really grown the business to something bigger than what it was, it seems.
Yes.
What has that journey been like, and what's kind of driving that for you?
So when I first bought Central Mass Mom, I had absolutely no idea how I was going to turn it into a business. It really was just a blog, and it was a fun thing to do. And I was friends with a lot of the other writers, and I didn't want it to end when the person who started it didn't want to run it anymore. And so I bought it and was sort of like, we're going to figure this out as we go. And so it was a lot of just trial and error and figuring out what kinds of things are going to drive traffic to our website, to our social medias, what kind of content does our audience want to see. And I would say the first year was really just kind of figuring it out. My goal that first year was not to make money. It was just to kind of keep it going. And at the time I worked in hospital administration during the day, and then I did Central Mass Mom at night. And I ran Central Mass Mom kind of in the evenings for I think about 2.5 years. And then last April, I actually left my job to run Central Mass Mom full time. And that was really kind of a turning point for us, because just me having the opportunity to dedicate a full work day or a full work week to running Central Mass Mom really impacted everything that we do. Just the time I have to dedicate to all the things that we do is so much more now. And so since going full time with Central Mass Mom, we've increased our numbers from a few. I think our website traffic in 2023 was 55,000, and in 2024 we were over 80,000.
Nice.
And we are already on track for, it's early in 2025, but we are already on track to do much more than that even in 2025. So it's exciting to see the growth. And I don't have a background in marketing or advertising or anything. It's really just kind of trying things out and seeing what happens, and doing it a little different the next time. And yeah,
totally. And I know that it's the blog, the events, everything that you're putting onto the website, it's a lot of work. And I know that you've got blog writers to help. Is there anyone else helping out behind the scenes to put together the events and the directory and all that stuff?
Yeah. So I have one employee who is theoretically part-time, but in actuality probably does 40 hours of work a week, named Robin Darling. She's our editorial director. And so what that means for Central Mass Mom being a 2-person show, she primarily, theoretically does all of the blog editing, making sure that our guides, like the summer camp guide, things like that, are ready to go, refreshed every year, and that sort of thing. But because it's really just the two of us doing everything, she really has kind of a hand in everything.
Yeah, totally.
And so she helps with the events, the prep ahead of time. She helps at the events. Really every aspect of the business she's a part of. We talk every day. We have an official meeting once a week, but we're constantly in contact, messaging each other about, this happened and whatever. But even between the two of us, it's busy. So
totally. And you said you now have 30 writers that contribute, and so I imagine that those are all moms in the Central Mass area.
Yes, so that is a requirement to be on our writing team, is to be a mom. We have a couple of writers who actually don't officially live in Central Mass, but they write about motherhood, and if there are things in the Central Mass area that they go and visit, they'll write about those sorts of things, or places worth traveling to, that kind of thing. The writing team they're all moms. I would say primarily moms on the kind of younger side, but we do have writers with kids as old as like 10, 12. And yeah, it's a great group where it's fun to see the group of moms really kind of bond. And we have get-togethers of our own every once in a while, and it's really nice to see them come together and become friends. And we have a group chat, and they're always messaging about things going on in their lives, and I can't think of anything to write about, and people chiming in on, I saw you did this the other day, why don't you write about that? And so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love that idea that like it's content and it's ideas, it's by moms and for moms. So kind of like the way that we do this podcast is we jokingly say like by girls for girls, but like we're both, women business owners, and we want to talk to women business owners, and we want this podcast to be for women business owners and people who support women in business. And so in the same way, it's like it's coming right from the source. So you don't have someone pretending to give out advice that they're not really qualified to give out or anything like that, but it's also like answering questions and having ideas that are probably on the minds of other moms as well, because you're in this like-minded, just like state of life.
Yeah.
So I love that I love that authenticity factor in it,
and,
for sure.
And that's something I think one of my favorite parts about the blog aspect of the business is how often we get messages from people that are saying, oh, I needed to hear this today, or I needed to see this, or even on our social media too. If I post, some story of me with like crazy hair and I'm like, everything's insane today. And other moms are like, oh, I needed to know that it was, it's not just me that's feeling like the world is chaotic. And so often those we call them heart pieces that moms write about the challenges, and they're like, oh, this thing was really hard and this season is really hard. And those are the ones that we get messages where moms say, oh, I felt like I was the only one going through this. And just purely reading an article made me realize that there's at least one other mom that is going through this. And sometimes moms just need to feel like they're not the only one.
Totally.
And
it's funny. I have always talked about the whole village thing. It takes a village, but then everyone's always like, there is no village. Like the village is gone. And like in my experience, you really do have to kind of like, it's not the traditional village that you think of, but you kind of have to build your village and figure out who it is. And like, if you don't have family in the area, okay, what else, like where else can you find that support? And it sounds like, people have been able to find that through Central Mass Mom, whether it's the blog or getting together in person. And that's necessary.
Yeah, it's, and you're so right. It doesn't just happen. And I think that's, people feel like I have a baby and then people show up and help me out. Right. And it's really, you have to, it takes work, and it is work, and you have to, put thought into how am I going to find the people that are my people. And, it is a little bit of the unicorn friend that, somebody that lives close by and has kids the same age and has the same parenting style and, all the things. But you have to put yourself out there to find that person. And that's kind of all what we're all about, is creating opportunities for moms to do that in kind of a low pressure environment. And you chat with enough moms, you find your people, and everybody needs their people.
Yeah. And then also when you become a mom, and like social media is great, and it's also terrible because all the information is out there, but also so many like random opinions about if you do X, Y, and Z, that means you're a terrible mother. And like that kind of discourse, not super healthy when you're like, scrolling through the TikTok. But then when you actually are able to have conversations with other moms, like face to face, there's so much nuance, and there's like personal opinion and like what works for someone, and like a lot less judgment, and being able to like come together and be like, oh, you're also having this issue where your kid like is not sleeping through the night, so trying to figure out like, just, I could go on forever now. But yeah, I think that's really important too, is, social media is great, but it's also not great, and to be able to talk to people in real life is super helpful.
Real people right in your community, for sure.
Yeah.
Totally. So how can people find Central Mass Mom online and stay up to date with all the events and offerings that you have?
Yeah. So we are at centralmassmom.com. We're also on all of the socials set at Central Mass Mom. If you go to our website, you can sign up for our e-newsletter, which goes out on Fridays, and that gives an update on all of our blog posts for the week, all of our events coming up. We also have a section that we just added that's things to do in the area, which is an awesome little tidbit. If you're looking for things to do in the upcoming week, it's a good place to look. And come to our events. And
totally. So we end every episode by giving our guests the opportunity to shout out another women-owned business, women in business, which I'm sure you work with so many of them. Who do you have in mind?
I want to shout out Tiffany Wilson, who is the owner of Well Rested Massage in Millbury. And the reason she is top of mind for me is that she just opened her own space. So she's been in business for a couple of years, but just in December, she opened her own space. And
where in Millbury? I live in Millbury. So
oh, how perfect. It's behind Calabria.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And she is fabulous. She is so sweet. She is a mama herself, and I connected with her, and we've actually done a couple of events in her space because in addition to being a massage studio, she also wants to really build a community and create space for people to connect, just kind of like Central Mass Mom. So we connected and are sort of kindred spirits in our goals and mission. So
awesome. You'll have to check them out.
Absolutely.
You're right there.
Yeah. My gym is right there. It's like right across the street.
Perfect. Get in a workout, get in a massage.
Oh, there you
It's a mom's
go.
day for you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Annie, for coming on. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Want to show your love for all the local ladies in business? Girls Just Want a Podcast merch is now available on Etsy.
From stickers to mugs and hats to tumblers, you can rep your favorite gal gang wherever you go.
Your purchase helps us continue to rent studio space, upgrade our recording equipment, and pay for editing software.
Find Girls Just Want a merch on Katrina and Creates Etsy shop. Link is in the show notes.
Welcome back to Heart It or Hate It.
Welcome back.
Heart it or hate it. Heart it or hate it.
Welcome back to Heart It or Hate It.
I love it when the ASM artists are like, pss, 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 pss. I just tell your cat I said pss, 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 pss.
All right, heart it or hate it, standing desks.
I'm going to go hate it. I've never used one.
Mm-hmm.
I know they became very popular in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Before that, I was working in an office, like right before, a year or two before the pandemic happened. I was working in an office.
Yeah.
And the big boss man had a standing desk, and I was like, oh, he means business. Like,
Yeah.
he was a very serious guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is how like CEOs who are trying to always get shit done do it. I just can't. If you've ever like gone to a gym and you've been on a treadmill and you're like, oh, I'm gonna like read or I'm gonna study,
Yeah, it's hard.
or whatever, like while I'm on the treadmill, I just don't understand how doing this, like I'm losing my place on the page.
Yeah.
So to me, it doesn't seem doable.
Yeah.
I can see standing desk, walking pad, scrolling.
Yep. But
not typing or reading or So to me, it just doesn't seem realistic. But a lot of people like them.
So we record this podcast using like I bought this thing that the laptop is on for the purpose of creating a standing desk at home. Like I didn't want to buy a brand new desk. But when I had my son, and I was like, I'm going to go back to work, but I'm going to be working from home, but he's going to be like 3 months old, at the end of maternity leave. I was like, I might end up like wanting to work while I'm like wearing him or something. So it would be better to stand. I probably did that twice and then never again. Because you still can't work that well if you've got a baby strapped to your chest and you're like trying to type around the baby.
I can't picture typing or anything.
Yeah. So I'm glad I found a second use for the desk now.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for purchasing this many years before you knew we were ever going to podcast.
Just one of my impulse buys.
Love that for
coming
us.
back around.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That you make use of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm hate it on standing desks.
Yeah, I'm going to say hate it too. I like couch desks. Just let me work from my couch.
Yeah. Hell
all
yeah.
the time.
Okay. Hard it or hate it, Facebook Marketplace.
I use it. I'm still going to say hate it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
It drives me crazy. I mean, there's so many crazy people out there. Like, you try to have a conversation and they say weird things and you're like, is this a real person? Is this a scam? It's so much work. And then when I'm trying to list things and sell things and then having to deal with like all of the conversations at the same time. And again, like, are they really interested in buying it or is it just a scam? And like, okay, now we've made plans to like meet up, but are these plans actually going to happen? Is this person going to murder me? Like, should we meet in a safe space? Then I tried to sell one once and the people, it was my old dining room set. So like table and chairs, and they came and they packed it up and they put it in their car and then I left and then they came back and tried to return it because they were like, we thought this was real mahogany wood and it's just a real mahogany wood like cover, but like that was on top of like something that's not real. And I'm like, okay, sorry, but they returned it and they were like, give us our money back. And like, so I've had bad experiences.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
I would have been like, sorry, no returns. And they would have been like, well, we're going to kill your whole family. And I'd be like, okay. You're right. You can have your money back.
So do you heart it?
So here's the thing is I do.
You're like, I did.
I mean, I was coming into this conversation like, I get pleasantly surprised on Facebook Marketplace. I think the reason I'm going to go hard it is because I haven't used it as much as you have.
Yeah.
I just every once in a while am like, you know what I want, but I don't care to spend money on a brand new one.
Yeah.
And then I look on Facebook Marketplace and there's several options. And
Yeah.
I'm like, hello?
Yeah.
So that's how I bought my Cricut.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Which is like a $200, $300, whatever dollar machine, the one that I have. I went on Marketplace because I was like, do I really need a brand new one? Or are there plenty of people who bought a Cricut, didn't use it, and was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Who wants it? And I got a really good deal on a brand new Cricut.
Yeah.
So that was nice. And then now I was thinking the lake that I live on freezes over and I don't know how to ice skate. But my friends do, and they were like, we should go ice skating. And I was like, okay, well, I will get a pair of ice skates off of Facebook Marketplace because I'm not going to buy a brand new pair.
Right.
And I could go to like, I don't know, Savers or Goodwill, but that's a lot of like time searching for.
And the likelihood of them having a pair of ice skates in your size.
Yeah. And so I'm like, that's a lot of time, but I could just find them on Facebook Marketplace. So I haven't found them yet, but like, I also haven't been super motivated to go ice skating. So anyways, so there's that. And now I also want, my next thing is, I want a Ninja Creamy.
Oh my gosh.
To make ice cream.
I've heard about these.
And like some of my friends at the gym have them.
Uh-huh.
And I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I don't want to buy a brand new one for $200.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people get them as gifts or buy them and then realize I'm never going to take this out and make ice cream.
Yeah.
Whereas me, you know me, I'm ice cream queen. I'll make ice cream every day.
Yes,
so it's
you will.
worth it.
Yes, you will. Yeah.
So anyways, that'll be something I probably purchase on Facebook Marketplace because I went and I looked. And there were people who literally said exactly what I just described, which is, like we bought this like around the holidays thinking it's a good deal. And then we realized we're like quite literally never going to use it. So I'm like, fair.
I probably do prefer using it as a buyer instead of a seller.
Yeah. I have sold things before and it's been fine.
Yeah.
But like, I usually don't.
Yeah. Sidebar, Jamie and I went ice skating in Worcester at the.
I saw your reel.
Yeah. And terrifying to just be me and him. And I'm like, his life is in my hands and I'm not an ice skater.
Quite literally, you are his mother. So his life is kind of always in your hands.
Yeah, but not usually
like 95%
skating around on the ice. Luckily, we used one of those like kiddie things. And I was pushing him. And that was like what was keeping me standing. Because otherwise, I definitely would have just like fallen on my face. Mm-hmm. But it was fun. I would do it again.
10 out of 10. So hard it or hate it, ice skating.
My next one is actually, and this is kind of stealing. We've done very similar before.
Yeah.
where we did hard it or hate it headbands. But today I want to talk about like the headbands that wrap all around your head. So like athletic maybe headbands.
Yeah, it's like a band. It's like one circle.
Yes. I want to specifically talk about that.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I'm going to say heart it.
Okay.
There are stipulations.
Okay.
There are certain ones that will not stay on my head.
Okay.
Certain materials
Okay.
slide right off this head of mine. I don't know if it's my head shape.
Yeah.
It must be. And I don't like thinking that that's what it is, but it probably is. And so there are certain ones like the cottony material. I love those. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I love those because I am a curly haired queen, and my flyaways when I put my hair up are insane.
Yeah.
And I don't always want to just like hairspray my head all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the cottony headbands. They keep everything in place. They don't slide off. But the athletic material ones, like what is that, nylon or sweat wicking performance, whatever the hell, those ones, zip, slide right off.
Okay. So I never used to wear them because they slide off. And I think it's because I have a 5-finger forehead. And I've got like, when I put them on.
You say that. Your forehead is not that big.
I've got a little hand. So maybe that's
You
why.
have a little hand. Like, hold on real quick. Yeah, you got 4 fingers by my count. My count is 4 fingers.
It's still a big forehead. And then when I put like a headband on, I look like I'm bald because like it just goes back so far.
I can see why. But that's why you rock those bangs.
That's why I got the bangs. But I'm starting to wear headbands more because sometimes the bangs are driving me crazy and headband, and I just kind of like throw them back. So I bought for the first time in years, like I didn't like them because I always slipped off, the one that goes all the way around. It's like still slipping. And not only in the front, but it comes up in the back.
Yeah.
And then it just turns into this like weird thing hovering on like the crown of my head.
Yeah, and it's not doing its job.
I don't like it, but I want to wear them. But it is like a nylon-y one, but it's got the rubber.
It has the little grippies that don't work.
Okay. So I should try cotton.
You should try the like, it's more of like a t-shirt material almost. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say hate it for now, but I'm glad we had this talk.
Okay.
So I can
I will show you too. I got someone gave them to me in my Secret Santa as well. The Nike really thin ones.
Oh yeah,
that are what you're describing. They're like nylon but with rubber. And I haven't opened the package yet because I think I'm going to hate all of them. And I'd rather
I saw those ones and I was like, that's going to fly straight off.
I was like, I'd rather just give them to someone who's going to actually use them. But then I'm always like, maybe I should try them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Final one. Heart it or hate it. Venmo.
Heart it.
Heart it.
Thank
Remember how
God.
much I hate Apple Pay though?
Yeah.
But I heart Venmo.
Well, it's different. Like Venmo is how you like can break up bills between friends or whatever.
Like me and some friends went out to eat last week, and one of my guy friends like paid the bill, and we literally just all Venmo'd him within seconds. And I was like, that was so much easier because we had a new waiter.
Yeah.
And not that we normally do this, but I was like, I would never subject this young man to, can you split this 4 ways? Oh, and he had a margarita, but I didn't.
And these two people are together, but this one,
And so I was like, love that sweet, sweet Venmo. Also, I use Venmo for business, which I know sounds a little odd. And most people don't use it to pay me, but I have had I had a small business use it to pay me before. It's a Venmo for business.
Yep.
Like it's separate for evergreen marketing. And I had a small business owner use it to pay me like a year ago. And then just recently, for the first time in like a year, I had an organization pay me through Venmo, which I thought was odd, but I was like, paid the bill right away.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The only thing is, fair warning, you have to be careful. You have to transfer that balance out of your Venmo.
Oh, interesting.
Don't keep it in there for too long, because if anything goes wrong with your Venmo account, there's like no receipts. There's no like insurance or anything for you to get that money back.
When I was on the board for YPWA, we tried to get a YPWA business Venmo, but you need to have an actual address. YPWA doesn't have a physical address.
They don't do PO box, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that was tricky. But yes, I mean, I love Venmo. I mostly use it. My sister is supposed to every month pay me for our phone bill because I'm the account owner on my phone plan. She doesn't pay me every month.
That's so funny. My sister pays me for the family Netflix account.
Yeah.
So we both get monthly Venmos from our sister.
Yes. And then that's how I pay my brother to babysit. So
nice. Yeah.
He babysits the other weekend, gets the money right away. It's I don't have to have like
cash or
a
anything,
check.
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that for us.
Heart it. Absolutely.
All right. That was a very long-winded, it felt like heart it or hate it segment. So
It was
hopefully you
not
enjoyed
rapid
it.
fire.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. We stopped calling it rapid fire so long ago. Once
Yeah.
again, play along on Instagram stories because it's fun.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Later,
ladies.
What are we talking about this time? Fucking insurance? Don't even. I can't. I'm going to talk so much about that.